Hi, my back hurts from, I don't know what. Maybe it's not arthritis because the internet was showing arthritis. People have deformed bones. Mine aren't that much deformed, only a little bit on my foot. Um, but my backbone might be deformed. I don't have an MRI. Um, anyway, as I was saying, as others were saying, my conduct is not a game that could be won or lost, nor any telepathy agreement. My conduct regarding my private life is, if not um, um, already stated here, actually, everything is already stated here. My conduct is according to the legislators' decisions. Okay, because ultimately is the type of human brain that is not equal, that is the cause for the initiation and the law. Um, Out of words for the people around me that I, d- I don't know why they insist on this being the only response that they'll accept. Really, zero of my neighbors or anybody near talks with me directly about um, the stress that they're going through, that makes them invent all the phrases that cause these speeches. Um, hmm, I don't know if they even look at this. So today is August 5th, Wednesday, around 11:06 a.m. Um, whatever I do is always only, as I was saying at the beginning, my conduct is only, what I do is only, what I think about is only very limited. Okay, what I'm going to do is always something that I have told somebody, or somebody invited me in a nice way, with a nice invitation. And even the nice invitation, I still might not attend. Even if I say I'm going, I still might not go. Why? Because of distance. Because of distance. How do I get from one place to another, especially during the heat wave? What else? Because of disease that I am always saying I have. Um, every day I have something to cope with. I stood up barely for a little while, prepare the grapes. Took such great effort to prepare 3 pounds of grapes, to clean them really good, to try to avoid getting sicker, to put them in the freezer so that I have frozen grape snacks. That somehow took all the good feeling I had in my spine, all the strength I had in my spinal cord, and all I could do is lay flat. And I have all around voices of all ages treating my brain as if I'm a typewriter. So that hurts. What they're looking for in there. And what? That's why anytime I exit my room, I exit my private space, you know, where do I go? Who do I talk with? How long are they going to behave like this? I have some people that stalk me. I don't know who they are. One of them did face me directly on the bus, and, or when we got off the bus, on Azusa Avenue, an Arrow Highway, him with his either girlfriend or his mother or his sister. I don't know. But yeah, obviously all I did was keep my distance from them, and then from a distance, made the point that y- for whatever, you know, private issues, like, we all have liberty to do whatever we want, take or not take whatever we want. I didn't say to someone, I don't, I would not live my life chasing somebody saying, "Oh, well, eat uh you eat orange melon, so I am against you because you eat orange melon." That's basically what the guy from the couple had to tell me. He's against me because of something that is my choice. How what I consume or don't consume. So, so yeah, there isn't anything that is resolved. From the conflict fizzles into, some people feel that they're against someone because they do something that they personally don't like. But as long as I'm not doing that to that person, I'm not harming them, I'm not near them, they really don't have any hold against me. If they go near me telling me not to eat orange melon, or tell me they're against me, I have the law on my side to get a restraining order against them, because is the orange melon something unlawful? No. So they don't have, if the orange melon were unlawful, they'd say, "Oh, look, she's eating orange melon, arrest her," or something. So in that case, the authorities they could possibly say, "Oh, but if usually with drugs they don't arrest, they're just like, well, go away, go take drugs wherever other territories people decided to take drugs." So I don't. That's not the topic here. The topic was my viewpoint. Simply because of my viewpoint, he didn't. I guess that was what he was bringing up, and so if that's what's angering others, the conflict has to fizzle out in the same way, where it just, there isn't anything. I'm not breaking any law. Then I'm not doing something wrong. I cannot be arrested if I'm not doing something wrong. I I don't have cause for doing something wrong. When I did have cause for doing something considered wrong, even though people hate me, they're hating me at the Target. Yeah, I talked to the sheriff. Why? I have always talked to them. Why? Because that's who I got stuck with. Why? Because my brain is different. Was that my choice? No. But that's the only way that I live. There have been, since I went into this neighborhood. I came to this neighborhood when I was 12 years old, or 13, 12, 13. And from parties, from my peers, like, I went to school, I mingled with my peers, I mingled with the class, with the classroom teachers and stuff, with the counselors, the police that were in charge of the school. And I end up getting taken home from the party in the police car, because my peers were incomprehensible even back then. So it was them that were nicest to me. Somehow my peers were being cruel. Somehow that was not reason enough to convince the authorities to make me go to Mexico to be an orphan, away from my mother, away from themselves. And nowadays people hate me because of my close ties with the police, with sheriffs. But see how the people themselves gather around me unjustly. And so the authorities themselves became authorities in the first place 2026 years ago, or at least to comprehend 250 years ago, specifically in America, to help monitor the situation that is sometimes considered human trafficking or immigration scams, to do with with what we do for a living among the general population of the world, whose brains differ from ours, when they pre-planned that long ago that we shall be diminished extensively in numbers, possibly up to the point of extinction, where there might be a moment in life where there's only one more childbearing female that has that brain deficit. So uh, when I got on the jail bus the first time in 2012, some people were saying that they were playing a game and they were sad when I got on the bus because they said that I'm the last one and that I ought to stop the game. That was back in 2012, September. I was not aware of all the information I have now. Is 2026. So the guys were sad, and I'm just blind. I was just like remembering and observing because I felt as if, how can they know me? Like, am I hallucinating? Like, is my life, my all my life, a hallucination, a dream that I'll someday comprehend? Maybe I'll have moments of retrospect where things will make more sense. And so these moments I could no longer have to myself. Now we've made the World Wide Web, and somehow my heartfelt words are demanded. Um, that it's no longer satisfactory to keep this private personal relation with whom I was taught is, you know, the highest power that could intervene on my behalf. You know, I was told, well, God, where else do we explain to you about how different we are? And then when scientifically, physically, okay, our brains are different. So then I'm looking for friendly individuals to friendly talk with about what I'm going to do, about what they're going to do, about what, you know, what is, what isn't, what is happening. So, like when the police guys were pulling that car over, I actually walked up to them. I didn't film me walking up to them. I only filmed up to where I was to cross the street. Well, no, I crossed the street. I went up to the police guys. I went near the other vehicle. I didn't look at the people that were in there. I just assumed that they were younger. And so in my interaction with the police officers, like, well, hi, well, what's happening? So what's happening is that they're having a moment there wherein I am excluded. So that was very blatantly clear. Okay, the police guys were like, whatever's happening here, ma'am, you're excluded. And I'm like, all right, cool. See you later. So I kept going my way, you know, up the highway to where I'm going, I've already talked myself that I'll be out of trouble, personally out of trouble, if that's where I go. When I don't have a private residence, that's where I'm to be. For whatever amount of time I don't have access to my room, or to be a guest in somebody else's private residence. So, um, so then I simply uploaded, well, I'll imagine something good is what they're up to. Like, compliment safe driving. You know, and even though that might sound silly, it's still making a point that why imagine something bad when it's my choice to imagine something. I'm not going to imagine bad things. So I'm imagining that whether I'm the last of a kind or not, whatever is going to happen is not going to be something bad, because worst case scenario is death. So even for death, there is a due process. There is a process that even when seemingly an accident, nowadays we're finding in the accidents not even really accident. If somebody's messing with the traffic lights, I'm laying down. I can't get up because I was the victim of a car accident too. Not only, you know, previous illnesses with my spine, but I was in a very bad car accident. And then I was a victim of brutality because I was protesting, you know, the way that the, I don't know, people are just, I was protesting what I'm looking at. Okay, I was looking at whatever I was looking at the store was not okay. I tried to change that, and basically I'm told, like, that's not my space to try to control. So I'm gonna stop trying to, like, call the police to make an adjustment where I think something should be different, because I just end up getting taught aggressively to just mind my own business. If somebody is inside the store whom I'm offended at being inside the store, I gotta leave the store myself and enter after the offender has left the store, or else the police will beat me up for trying to keep the offender out of the store myself through their help. That's basically what message I'm receiving. So I can't be calling the police on people nor on store management because I don't like somebody that's in there. The motive was they didn't shower and they reeked of alcohol, and they were as if standing guard at the restroom, near the restroom. So I decided to go shopping for my fruit first and then go to the restroom after. Well, he started making noises. They started making schizophrenic noises from the restroom area. So I went and talked to management. When they failed to respond favorably to my request to ask the man to leave, plus open the locked restroom stall, they said, okay, no. And then I said, well, let me talk to your manager. And then I talked to the manager on the phone, and I said, can we please call the police, because, like, this is too much. You can't let people like that in the store. They said, okay, we're calling the police. Well, when the police got there, the guy had fled. And then I called myself the police station and said, are these the real police now entering the store? Because I've had cases in the past where the police are fake that go near me. So she said, no, don't worry, these are the real police. Okay. So they were the real police, but they didn't want to hear anything that I'm saying because, I don't know, um, they were all aloof, as if they don't know what's going on, as if they're brand new walking in, and they're like, okay, there's someone individual who had a woman was calling about some disturbance, where there's the female that was calling about the disturbance, and I tried to like tried to tell them with great earnestness what is going through my brain. So up goes my arms with that have an umbrella, and then they're just like, drop the umbrella, and like I don't know, they turned into an aggressive moment, and then they were chasing me, and I was throwing the umbrella and they were chasing me anyway, and that's how I got beat up. So later on, we fixed the problem on the phone. They said, we're not going to do anything about that. Well, if anybody filed anything about that, I have injuries. I have inevitable injuries that happen. I'm not the only one that's victim of police brutality. Um, but somehow I also feel as if I was a recipient of an anger that is in the air, an anger against me, because of the way that I don't have control about my private life, and the way that others, what they do for a living around here, that I don't look at, and how they feel as if I must be a participant in some form of um I don't know, like distancing, like they feel as if they're going into this territory and I should leave, or as if I sh- but without an actual employment offer for me being somewhere consistently or regularly, um, um, so that we share the living space, is what was going on that day, where I don't have somewhere else to go. And then wherever I'm going, people were behaving in a way that they're pre-planned for the authorities to be called, maybe, in a way, because I ended up feeling greatly relieved, although I was beat up, and I thought, well, I might die in the cell from the injuries right after. But if I didn't, I was grateful to have another bed to lay down in, plus a toilet, plus some food, because that's what happens at the jail, is start getting a bed immediately, plus a toilet, plus 3 meals a day. So just had some time there to feel as if I might suddenly die. Sometimes I still feel like I might suddenly die from the injuries. The bruises on my legs, they just like go from, I get random bruises now all the time, more than before, around my knees, the bones between my knees and my ankles, especially on my right side after the car accident. So somehow the injuries with the bruises, they go all the way from the front of my leg, and then the back of my leg, and then front. So I'm not sure exactly how the human body heals. I'm trying to learn more about that. Thank you, taking cleavers.